The Blitzkrieg has galvanized the nation's war industries into full-speed production. Labor responds 100% to the 7-day week appeal. This national arms factory, visited on Sunday by the King and the Minister of Supply, acknowledged the honor with the appropriate salute. Men and machines in full swing. To redouble the munitions output and quickly replace stores abandoned by the BEF, industry takes its coat off. Herbert Morrison has given a strong lead, and His Majesty's munition workers know how to respond. The nation's womanhood has responded too. Members of the Auxiliary Territorial Service marched past the Queen when Her Majesty visited the headquarters of the Eastern Command.
The need for more helpers is very great today, and I should like to think that many hundreds were able to offer their services to the country and to follow the example of those who I see before me today. I wish you all every good fortune in the admirable work that you are carrying on.
Three cheers for Her Majesty, the Queen! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Some of the British sailors who were wounded when Admiral Harwood battered the Graf's Bay were landed in South Africa. These pictures show most of them at the convalescent stage and looking forward to another job as good as the last. Three petty officers, Truman of Exeter, and Nemo of Achilles, Green of Exeter. Not since the battle has Nemo had a close shave. Sub-Lieutenant Corsten has a broken leg. Stoker Lewis has a broken neck, down but not out. As soon as they were fit enough, they went in triumph to Cape Town City Hall for a civic reception. The OC of the party was welcomed by the mayor. In South Africa, as throughout the empire, the heroes of the River Plate were accorded the admiration of all. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester inspected at St. James's Palace the Department of the Red Cross that looks after our countrymen who are prisoners of war in Germany. Volunteer workers make up the parcels. Nazi Germany can be relied on to give her British captives even shorter shrift than in the last war. Hence the Red Cross asked for comforts, a practical reminder for the prisoners that they are not forgotten at home. With speed born of tragic necessity, France has organized huge clearing stations for refugees. For days and days, this afflicted army of the helpless trudged on till at last thousands reached Paris. Though the French capital is not more than a short motor drive from the battlefield, and at one time seemed in danger itself, Parisians performed miracles in giving aid to the pitiful victims of the Blitzkrieg. A military barracks and a railway station are the chief reception depots. Names and particulars are noted, and then the arrivals are given food. Sisters of Mercy have performed the work and carried it out, and never was mercy more needed than in this age of Hitler. The refugees of each district are collected together. Many of them were deliberately machine-gunned by tanks and planes as they fled in terror. The words total war hitherto have been little more than a phrase. Now there is hardly a corner in Europe where total war is not understood in all its ghastly horror. In large areas of northern France, there is hardly a child that is not old in terrible experience. The people of Paris have showered gifts of clothing on the depots in response to the nuns' appeal. No war war in European history ever ravaged so much territory in so short a time as this. All northern France from Abbeville to Dunkirk, all Belgium and all Holland swelled the army of refugees. Districts which only a month ago believed that this time the war could barely touch the fringe of France are now deep behind the German front. How long it will be before the children return to their homes, no one can tell. But even when the Nazi armies are hurled back and the Allies win, the refugees will go home to bombed and shattered villages and towns. Sleep gave its blessing to a few, but not to one man, a soldier, who broke down when he was told his wife and baby had been killed. On feet blistered almost beyond bearing, many had dragged their way more than 100 miles. They were bandaged and given rest. The great department of the North, industrially the richest in France, is in German hands for the second time in 25 years. When its children have grown up, the same calamity may make refugees of their children, unless the victory is shatteringly complete. The totalitarian black shadow darkens our own shores. The hand of France and Britain will not leave the sword till from the Hitler menace this generation and the next have been made secure. The rescue of the British Expeditionary Force confounded the most optimistic experts and astonished the whole civilized world. 335,000 men, British and French, were brought back from almost certain annihilation. They were an army not defeated in battle. They had been outflanked, callously abandoned without warning by King Leopold, left in the air, enemies on all sides. To escape by sea, thousands flung off their clothing and swam out to the boats. Nearly 900 vessels of all kinds engaged in this great operation. In praising the BEF, we remember too the gallant French divisions that fought with them. They must have thought they hadn't a dog's chance of getting away, and actually they brought their dogs away too. It's an old joke in the British Army to jibe at some other regiment by saying, "Thank God we've got a Navy." This time every Tommy in the BEF says that from the bottom of his heart. For several days, every hour of the 24, the ships came in. Germany said the only reason she couldn't stop them was that thick fog enveloped the channel. If this is fog, Hitler's a gentleman. Arrival at Dover was the end of the ordeal for nurses too, brave women who earned the nation's heartfelt thanks. If ever any men were snatched from the jaws of death, these men were. Unbelievably, to the country and to themselves, they were back in Britain. As soon as the men had disembarked and had a bite to eat, railways buckled down to the huge job of getting them away. At a London station, everything was prepared to receive the heroes from Flanders. They had been fighting against daily increasing odds on daily diminishing rations. Now there was no enemy and all the food they could put away. Field kitchens brewed oceans of tea, sandwiches in mountains met famished Mohammeds halfway. Every conceivable kind of craft was employed: yachts, lighters, barges, lifeboats, and seaside pleasure steamers. To and fro they went, while behind Dunkirk arose great clouds of smoke from the funeral pyres of abandoned war stores. And all the time Nazi planes rained bombs on the port, on the beaches, on the thick cluster of little ships that were calmly bringing the men off. Naval anti-aircraft and the untiring, ever-present Royal Air Force fought a continuous and winning battle against the German attack by air. If it had gone according to military textbooks, the evacuation would have been impossible, But only here and there did a few wrecks show where the Germans had scored direct hits. The moment each ship was tight crammed with men, it got away, belting back to Dover, running the gauntlet of the Nazi bombers. All day for days on end, battalions arrived on the beach at Dunkirk. This was not a long-planned embarkation with every detail carefully worked out. It was an operation improvised almost on the spur of the moment. On that black morning when King Leopold surrendered, the experts said that with good fortune, perhaps 20,000 men might be brought back to England. And here were 4/5 of the British Expeditionary Force being embarked and brought home, with the enemy pounding at the very gates of Dunkirk and ceaselessly bombing from overhead. Often from the small boats that brought them from the beach, the soldiers clambered onto destroyers while the boats went back for more. Somebody likened the whole operation to a super regatta with Nazi bombers making sure nobody got bored. Destroyers showed a turn of speed it was good to see. Incessant air attack caused one ship's machine gunner to run out of ammunition. The Tommies stripped their own cartridge belts to keep him well supplied. Unstintingly, Great Britain lavishes praise on her navy for the part it played. Germany disparaged sea power not long ago and said that air supremacy would make a mockery of the Royal Navy. And here, providing a wide target for the Nazi planes, the Navy brought back more than 300,000 men under Goering's very nose. In tens of thousands, Frenchmen were evacuated too. Someone has aptly said that in the last war, France and Britain were allies and put up with each other as best they could. This time, the two countries and the two armies are friends. When our friends, the French, embarked in England, they met comrades they'd given up for lost and almost wept for joy. Hundreds now had their first wash for a week. Big stores of clothing were sent to the port to replace the dirty, tattered uniforms in which they'd cut their way through to Dunkirk and in many cases swum out to the rescue boats. Surprisingly large numbers of the BEF brought back rifles and ammunition. The action of disciplined soldiers, always behaving like soldiers, however hard-pressed. While the soldiers disembarked, the boat crews slept anywhere they could, but not for long. Empty ships had to go back to make room for more and more vessels of that unending procession from Dunkirk. Thousands came back without boots, and all any of them had was what they stood up in, sometimes not very much. Agreeing with the Prime Minister that wars are not won by evacuations, the country shares Mr. Churchill's faith that the BEF will go back and defeat Germany in the field. They will fight again under their heroic Commander-in-Chief, Lord Gort, VC, who was ordered home when he had brought his army safe to Dunkirk. He went to the War Office to report, incidentally greeting his old friend, the Commissioner. It's all over now, and 4/5 of the BEF are home again. Tommy deserves all the luck that's going. As to whether they're downhearted, Listen to what some of them have to say and judge for yourselves.
Well, after a good hard time, we're all glad to be back in England. And after a good wash and brush up, we're all ready to go back after a spot of leave. And he'll not chase it out like he has done this time. We'll get him on the run. And by God, when we do, we'll make him run.
I'm not a jury, but I jumped in the trench and got this one, and I put 7 through him. And I didn't forget him. He got 2 of our chaps, but I got 1 or 2 of theirs.
We're not downhearted if we can have a rest. Oh. We want to get back after a good rest, but we do need a rest. And we'll be back and we'll have a bloody good smack at them.